Hey everybody, my video is on the about the game that happened, yesterday, Thursday night. The 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals, and it was a good game. But there is things that kind of concerned me about this game last night, and I know that there's a good reason for it. You know we weren't totally as potent as we usually are. I think part of that is the Cardinals were playing one hell of a game. Credit to them. But I think another part of it was we were so gassed out. We were exhausted. We just came back from a short week, and you play against a good physical team like the Panthers, and you have a short week, and then you go and you play against the Cardinals. You go on a Thursday night game, which is a short week, and so I think that showed. Also, another thing too is I think the defense kind of it kind of concerned me, but I think it was a combination of both of fatigue and the fact that the Cardinals really wanted to beat the 49ers. I mean, they really did. They wanted to prove something under the lights. A prime time game. They wanted to prove something to everybody that they were better than what people are giving credit for. Because the Cardinals are an improving team. I think we're starting to see that, even though they have a losing record. But our defense. One of the things in the beginning of the game, the 49ers won the coin toss and deferred and gave the ball, kicked the ball off. They decided to, kick the ball off to Arizona. See, if I'm a coach, I want the ball first because when you have the ball, you know, if you can move it down the field and score, you get on top right away. You start off fast. That's how I always see it. But I don't know why coaches always want to defer. Deferring didn't really help very well because the Cardinals, they got the ball and then they just right down the field easy. One of the things was a horse collar, like there was a penalty against the 49ers defense for a horse collar on Kyle Murray, which kept their drive alive and they just scored easily. And and then the 49ers, it took them a few series until they finally got on the scoreboard. And and then so but then as the game went along, they started getting points on the board and they started playing better defense. But in that second half, they just kind of just the exhaustion really started to show. Um, the defense just was giving up a lot of yards, giving up big plays, big running plays. I think part of the reason that why the defense was suffering so badly in the second half was because they had an injury to a key player, Quan Alexander, and it talks here about the severity of that injury, about Quan Alexander. It says the 49ers have some level of optimism concerning linebacker Quan Alexander chest injury. It was not diagnosed immediately as a torn pec, which would be a season-ending injury. He will undergo MRI on Friday to determine the extent of the damage. He appears to have good range of motion, so he's going to have an MRI today, and it sounds like he's going to be okay. I mean, they're making it saying that he has some good motion there. So maybe it's just a strain, and maybe it could be he could be out for a couple of weeks, which is a good thing. That's better than season ending. So these kind of injuries can be pretty bad. Um, but I think that was part of it because we need him when he's out. He's what helps us slow down the running game of the other teams, and so it was important that we we get him back because he's good against stopping the run. Our run defense. He's very good with that, and he's a big part of that. And so, but on the 49ers though, we have guys that can step up. It's like next man up. One guy, we always got guys who can step up and fill in real well, and you've seen that with the injuries that we've had. We have guys that are filling in for guys that are out currently. So That's a good thing. The game was it was a close game, and with the injuries and with the score, it was a scary game. After all, it was on Halloween night last night, yesterday, and it was you know it, it was an entertaining game, but our guys just looked like they were exhausted too. From the short week and everything. But it was a good game, and the biggest thing I can take away from this game, from what I saw, was Jimmy Garoppolo had a terrific night. I mean, I get so sick and tired of hearing all these analysts out there saying that Jimmy Garoppolo, we haven't seen enough of him do great things. It seems to be more of the defense and the running game. We haven't seen Jimmy do enough. To make an assessment on him. I think the skill set is there. It's there. He may not have a lot of opportunities to really show his stuff, because the way the 49ers offense runs, it runs mostly with the running game and then the passing when you need to. That's kind of how Kyle Shanahan's offense works. And when you have a quarterback on an offense like that, where you run the ball more than the pass, your quarterback's not going to have big, huge numbers. It's not going to be like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson like numbers. It's not going to have. It's not going to be like that. So, but what you saw last night was the Cardinals were able to slow down the 49ers running game, and they were also able to move the ball against the 49ers defense. So this meant it was in Jimmy G's hands. It was up to Jimmy G to move the chains and to pass to move the ball downfield, to get the first downs and get the touchdowns when needed. And it was up to him, and he threw for over 317 yards and four touchdowns. I mean, that is you know that was really that just right there shows you that he's capable. I think he's capable. And I don't care what anybody says about it. I was reading on Skip Bayless's um, Twitter page about what his thoughts were on last night's game, and he tried to make it. He was talking about how Kyle Murray should. He would have loved to see Kyle Murray have won the game, or something like that. I didn't read the whole thing, but he was just. It was more of a Jimmy G night. It wasn't a Kyle Murray night, but he tried to make it sound like Kyle Murray should have been, the guy that win the, he was rooting for him or whatever, that he should have won the game or something. But it was really a Jimmy G night, and that's all that's important. That he was able to pull the game out, help the team win. And I got to tell you though, Emmanuel Sanders, boy, I tell you, he's going to be he is our number one receiver. In fact, from what I saw last night, he is the most productive wide receiver that we have on the whole team right now. George Kittle's a tight end, but he's done pretty good as a receiving guy. But as far as this new guy, Emmanuel Sanders, right now I can see what I saw last night. I could see maybe a formula starting to form between Jimmy Garoppolo and Emmanuel Sanders, as far as them being able to the pass and the catch, and you can kind of see that they got some formula there, and that's good. And hopefully that will get better as the season goes along. But it was a tough game last night. Like I said, they had to move the ball down the. Cardinals came out, got the score quickly. 49ers, it took them at least a few series to get on the scoreboard. And then late in the second half, the Cardinals were making a comeback, and it was a crazy game. The 49ers ultimately won 28-25. So it was a good game. There had been some injuries and stuff like that, but I think that we're going to be okay. I think that as far we got, I'm not a big fan of Thursday night games because of the short week. Even Richard Sherman had said that it's not a good thing, because players need the rest. They need to rest their injuries and bumps and bruises or whatever. And sometimes if you have a soon game after, the risk of injury can be really really high on that player. But the good news though about Thursday night games is that after the game's over, they got they got 11 days of rest, until November 11th, Monday Night Football. So that's good. That's good. They'll get rest now. It'd be like a little mini bye because they need a lot of rest. And when we play Seattle, we'll be getting our two starting tackles back, Joe Staley and Mike Glinski. We'll be getting them back, and that's really important to get them back. The guys that are filling in for him now, they aren't doing too bad of a job, but you can tell there's a weakness in the offensive line. Guys are getting back there and getting near Jimmy Garoppolo and sometimes sacking him. So when we get those two guys, those two guys back, Staley and Mlginski, I have a hard time pronouncing his name, then we'll be okay. And I think that everything will be just fine with that. But it was a good game. 49ers won 8-0. Whoever saw that coming, I can't believe it happened, but nobody ever saw 8-0 coming. So to everybody, that's all I want to talk about. Maybe I'll do a video over the weekend and talk about the game that's going to be against the Seahawks. We'll see. But anyways, that's all I want to talk about. And everybody take care and have a good weekend.